everyone, and welcome back to our English learning podcast. Today, we are going to talk about something simple but incredibly powerful: the power of daily English practice. Many people dream of speaking English fluently. They want to communicate confidently, understand movies without subtitles, travel comfortably, and create better opportunities for themselves. However, many learners focus on finding the perfect method, the perfect course, or the perfect teacher while ignoring one of the most important secrets of success: daily practice. The truth is that fluency is not built in a single day. It is built day by day, step by step, through small actions repeated consistently over time. Imagine two English learners. The first learner studies English for 5 hours once every 2 weeks. The second learner studies for only 20 minutes every day. After several months, the second learner will often make much greater progress. Why? Because consistency is more powerful than occasional effort. Language learning is similar to exercising at a gym. You cannot build strong muscles by exercising only once a month. You need regular training. The same principle applies to English. Your brain needs frequent exposure to the language in order to remember vocabulary, improve pronunciation, and develop fluency. One of the greatest benefits of daily practice is vocabulary retention. Many learners complain that they keep forgetting words. They spend hours memorizing vocabulary lists, but a few weeks later, most of the words are gone. This happens because the brain tends to forget information that is not used regularly. When you practice English every day, you repeatedly encounter words and phrases. Each encounter strengthens your memory and makes those words easier to recall during conversations. Daily practice also improves listening skills. At first, spoken English may sound fast and difficult to understand. Native speakers seem to connect words together, making it hard to catch every sentence. However, when you listen to English every day, your ears gradually become familiar with the sounds of the language. You start recognizing common expressions, sentence patterns, and pronunciation features. Over time, understanding English becomes easier and more natural. Speaking skills improve in the same way. Many learners believe that fluency suddenly appears one day. In reality, fluency develops gradually through hundreds of small speaking experiences. Every sentence you speak helps train your brain to communicate more quickly. Every conversation increases your confidence. Every mistake teaches you something valuable. This is why speaking a little every day can be more effective than speaking for hours once in a while. Another important benefit of daily practice is building confidence. Confidence is not something that magically appears. It grows through repeated action. The first time you speak English, you may feel nervous. The 10th time, you feel slightly more comfortable. The 100th time, speaking feels much more natural. Confidence comes from experience, and experience comes from consistent practice. Daily practice also helps develop the habit of thinking in English. Many learners translate every sentence from their native language before speaking. This process slows communication and creates hesitation. When English becomes part of your daily life, your brain gradually learns to think directly in English. You begin forming thoughts without translation, which makes speaking smoother and faster. The best part is that daily practice does not require large amounts of time. You do not need 3 or 4 hours every day. Even 15 or 20 minutes can make a significant difference. For example, you can listen to a short podcast while walking. You can read an English article during a break. You can learn 5 new phrases before going to bed. You can speak to yourself in English while doing household tasks. These small activities may seem insignificant, but when repeated every day, they create remarkable results. Let's consider another example. If you learn just 5 new English words every day, you will learn approximately 1,800 words in a year. If you listen to English for 20 minutes every day, you will accumulate more than 120 hours of listening practice in a year. Small efforts become powerful when they are repeated consistently. One challenge many learners face is motivation. At the beginning, people often feel excited. They set ambitious goals and study enthusiastically. However, after a few weeks, motivation may decrease. This is completely normal. The key is not relying on motivation alone. Successful learners depend on habits rather than motivation. A habit continues even when you do not feel particularly motivated. That is why creating a daily English routine can be so effective. Perhaps you listen to a podcast every morning. Perhaps you review vocabulary every afternoon. And perhaps you read English for 10 minutes before bed. When these activities become habits, learning feels easier and more natural. Another advantage of daily practice is reducing fear. Many learners avoid speaking because they are afraid of making mistakes. However, when English becomes part of your everyday routine, mistakes become less frightening. You begin to see them as a normal part of learning rather than something to avoid. As a result, you become more willing to communicate and take risks. Daily practice also helps maintain momentum. Every day that you interact with English, you keep the language active in your mind. Long breaks often make learners feel as if they are starting over. Regular practice prevents this problem and allows steady progress. Remember that language learning is a journey, not a race. You do not need to compare yourself with others. Focus on your own improvement. Celebrate small victories. Perhaps today you understood a podcast more clearly than before. Perhaps you learned a useful phrase. Perhaps you spoke English for 5 minutes without hesitation. These small achievements are signs of progress. Over time, they add up to something remarkable. Many fluent English speakers were not naturally gifted. They simply practiced consistently over a long period of time. They kept learning even when progress felt slow. They continued speaking even when they made mistakes. And eventually, their efforts paid off. If you want to improve your English, remember this simple principle. Practice every day. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be long. It simply has to be consistent. A little practice every day is more powerful than a lot of practice once in a while. The power of daily practice lies in its ability to transform small actions into extraordinary results. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. We hope this episode inspires you to make English a part of your daily life. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep moving forward one day at a time. Your future fluent self will thank you for every minute you invest today. See you in the next episode, and have a wonderful day.